And I just want to just have you share with the people what the Spirit of God is saying to the church right now.
Well, we're in a season that is, we see these two things presenting. For the church, the Lord spoke to a group of prophets we meet every year, a season of bounty, and the other's a season of turmoil. And Shay, that's about it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing a time of shaking.
Yeah.
In fact, I've been preaching that we're in a time of shaking, Haggai 2:7. I'm going to shake all nations. But also, I'm going to fill this house with glory.
Yes.
And so I really want your prophetic take. Are we in revival? And of course, this will be timed and it'll be shown in a number of months. But what we're experiencing right now, we've had Asbury, Outbreak, the Jesus Revolution movie that came out. And we just really feel like the water level's rising. We're seeing more people get saved. We just had Hope, California, 10 stadium events with Mondo Matthews. And so we're seeing more people getting saved right now, but are we in the beginnings of a historic revival?
Yes, in fact, not only for the United States, but I would just say worldwide.
Yes.
There is an awakening. We're in this, where I talk to people from Latin America, Asia, wherever, the Spirit of God is moving in a strong way.
Yeah.
And we're just the beginnings.
Well, we know the harvest has been coming globally. Peter Wagner taught us when he was alive that 180,000 are getting saved every day. And he mentioned 35,000 in India, 35,000 in China every day. And then he said Brazil is one of the hot spots, and Indonesia is now 40% born again. The largest Muslim nation is now 40%. So we've been seeing the harvest, but something has happened in America. And like the other nations are going to a different level. At least that's what I feel as I traveled. I just came from Egypt, and I could not believe what was going on with our dear friend Nader Yassa and his church there.
James Gall just shared a little bit, a teaching about what he called hot spots. And I would say Egypt, I'd say Kenya is another one. There are certainly these nations where the Holy Spirit is moving, in Iran, various places. But it reminds me, Che, right after 9/11, we were doing a conference in Boise, Idaho, and Dutch Sheets came in to speak. And as he's speaking, he begins to prophesy over the nation. It's very interesting because I had a vision. I don't know what y'all think about this, but I had a vision of the angel of the Lord over America, wrapped in the U.S. flag, had a crown, kind of like Statue of Liberty,
Now, when you say a vision, was it like in your spirit of your?
It was an open vision.
Open vision, like a television type vision.
Yeah, just like I can see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see this. About 20 feet tall. So Dutch is prophesying, and Dutch is intense,
Yeah.
So he's prophesying and he goes, I see like fires breaking out here in the small areas and the big and the rural, and he's prophesying this. And I'm having a vision of the angel of the Lord pointing he had a scepter. The Statue of Liberty, has a light thing, but that was like a counterfeit. Sure. But I saw him pointing with his scepter and just whole communities exploding with the power of God.
Wow.
So that was of 2000, that was 9/11,
Right.
And so, but now we're seeing the manifestations.
Yes.
And it's hitting, as you know, Texas A&M, Baylor University. I heard Purdue,
I just heard Harvard is experiencing it. So it's breaking out in Harvard. It came from Michael Brown. He had a newsletter and said the reports are coming out that they're having all these young people getting saved at Harvard University. So when it hits a major secular university like Harvard, that to me is a sign that revival is breaking.
Our good friend Lou Engle will be happy he prayed so long at Harvard.
Yes, I know.
Some of us in our generation, Lou, we just prayed and prayed and prayed, and we thought, are we going to be with Jesus before we see this happen? It was very exciting to see the outbreak.
We have a dear friend who's an MIT graduate, Daniel Lee, and his wife is a graduate of Columbia University, and they have an organization, it's a campus ministry called Alabaster Group. And they've been contending for Harvard. They have students from Harvard who are part of it, and God is just answering prayers. It's happening with the Ivy League schools. Yeah. It's amazing.
Those places that, seem like the hard to reach places.
Right.
I know I had a buddy who told me that I come from an island of unreached people groups called Manhattan,
That's very unreached,
yeah. But the Holy Spirit is sweeping in to the hardest hearts and the hardest situations and going to move.